If there is one player that best describes why we do the Dynasty Market Report, it would have to be Jalen Hurts. This is the Dynasty Market Report where we look at a specific player in fantasy football and we track where are they trading? What are some real trades happening with them so that we can get a gauge of what is low, what is high, because we all know we should be trading to make our Dynasty teams better and we all want to buy low and sell high. So what do I mean? If there's one player that best fits why we do these videos, it's because you have to be taking the market into account when you trade for someone. Any video I make about the Eagles right now, I will, especially the pass catchers. If I make a video about Devonta Smith, if I make a video about A.J. Brown, I will get a comment saying Jalen Hurts can't throw. Now, two things can be true. Actually, a couple things can be true. I'm not sure that it's just two that I'm going to say here. Jalen Hurts might not be able to throw. He might not be a great passer. That can be true. Even if it is true, that would mean he hasn't been a great passer in the past. He still produces for fantasy football. Last year, he was QB7. QB7 is just QB7. He was putting up good numbers in a year where a lot of people were concerned about the Eagles' offense. And I think their offense will get better going into 2026. I think they will start to turn things around. Even when people were really concerned about them, Jalen Hurts was good for fantasy. The third thing that can also be true that you need to be taking into account, even if Jalen Hurts is good, there's a whole group of people that just don't want him. I traded for Jalen Hurts last year in a Dynasty league and then tried to move him. And I was constantly told by people, you're just overvaluing Jalen Hurts. And the truth is, we're not. He is good at fantasy football. He might not be a great NFL quarterback, but you have to keep those two things in mind if you acquire this guy, because you might not be able to move on from him. Your money, think about it as money. It'll be parked in a good spot, but no one wants to trade out of it. You lose some flexibility. The production is there, but the flexibility is not. And I want both in an ideal world. Jalen Hurts is a player, well, I'll take the production if I have to, and I'll take that production at the right price, but I do it knowing that I lose some flexibility. So let's talk about some real trades that have happened and kind of which side of them we want to be on. Someone sent Devonta Smith and Jared Goff and got Jalen Hurts and Dalton Kincaid. I like Jared Goff. He's a fine QB2 for you in a super flex league. I like Devonta Smith. If A.J. Brown moves on, there's a lot of room for Devonta Smith to become a much better fantasy receiver, even if Jalen Hurts can't throw. I have a video about this on TikTok responding to someone's comments. I said I like Devonta Smith going into 2026. Their comment was very short and sweet. Hurts can't throw. The follow-up is, it doesn't matter if he only throws for 190 yards a game and then rushes. That's enough for Hurts to be great for fantasy football, and it is enough for Devonta Smith to be great for fantasy football. I don't need my receivers to get a chunk of a 300-yard passing game. I just need them to be the lead guy on a 190-yard passing game, getting 90 to 80 yards with a shot at a touchdown. So I like both pieces, but I think Jalen Hurts is going to provide more value at the quarterback than Smith is at wide receiver. And then Goff, so I like Hurts more than Devonta Smith. And then Goff, I do like more than Kincaid, but it's not nearly enough to counteract how much better Jalen Hurts is at quarterback than Devonta Smith is at wide receiver. So I'll take the Hurts side there. Hurts and Nico Collins for Drake May. I would happily down tier from Drake May to go to Jalen Hurts and bring in a stud wide receiver like Nico Collins, who's probably going to be top 10 again in 2026. This is just getting better production at the cost of flexibility, because you're going to get good numbers from Hurts, maybe not as high as Drake May, but adding in Nico Collins more than makes up for it. You just lose some flexibility that some managers in your league might not be happy with Jalen Hurts. Another deal, Jaden Daniels for Hurts in the 106. It's a very similar setup. You're taking a better quarterback, probably, moving to a very good quarterback that people might not like, and then getting another valuable asset on top in the 106 that you could then flip with something else, or just draft a wide receiver or tight end or Fernando Mendoza in this year's rookie draft. Another deal, Hurts and Quinshon Judkins for Stroud, a 27 first and a 28 first. If you've watched these videos from me, you'll know I'm not a massive backer of CJ Stroud for fantasy football. He had a great rookie season, and we thought that he was the next Joe Burrow. But if he doesn't run and he isn't the next Joe Burrow, he's just not special. He's not much better than Jared Goff for production. He's not better than Brock Purdy. And I think the market is finally starting to see that, well, Purdy might be the better fantasy quarterback. He's a good pocket passer. He's in the range of Jordan Love. Definitely better than Bryce Young, but he's not top 12. He's more in that 12 to 20 range in any given week if he's just not going to run. So in that deal, if we're looking at Judkins, you could probably get 2 firsts out of Judkins, and then I would definitively rather have Hurts than Stroud. If you're looking for a deal that's about even, I don't necessarily know which side I would take, or I could take it on different teams. Jalen Hurts for the 101 and the 211. And you're hoping to get some upside out of the 101. This is if you really believe that Jeremiah Love is going to get drafted into a great situation and immediately become as good and valuable as Bijan Robinson or Jahmyr Gibbs. Like, you could get more upside from him. It's not for sure. You might end up with Ashton Genty. You might end up with the way people view Marvin Harrison now, 2 years after he was a top pick. Like, the 101 does not always succeed. But you could then move the 101 in this 211 and get more pieces, and you might not be able to with Hurts. So I'm going to call it about even, where I could take either side. If I had the 101 and the 211, would I move them for Hurts? If I needed a quarterback, I could. And if I had Hurts and I wanted to start a rebuild, or if I had other quarterbacks, I would make this positional swap. I would be okay with it. So I'm going to call that one even. Now, I have found some trades where I would take the other side. Some of these videos, I have a hard time finding deals where if I think someone's undervalued, where I would move on from them. But here, Jalen Hurts and a 27 first for Drake May and Demario Douglas. I could move that random 27 first. We talked about a deal before with Drake May, saying May for Collins, Nico Collins, and Jalen Hurts. I think I would rather have Nico Collins than a random 27 first. So if I'm moving Jalen Hurts and I think I'm going to really contend in 2026 and that it's probably a later 27 first, that's a deal where I would just be okay with taking Drake May. Here's another one, and I promise this is a deal that someone made. Someone sent Jalen Hurts for Josh Allen. This is another version of why we do the Dynasty Market Report. Check in with your league. It is unlikely that you can move Hurts for Josh Allen, but someone did, and deals like that can happen. One of the best things, I'm going to talk more about this than the specific trade. One of the best things you can be doing for your Dynasty team is just checking in with your league mates. You want to be the one driving trade discussions rather than waiting for someone to come to you. Because if you could get Hurts for Josh Allen, like a lot of the times people are going to say this is an instant decline. No, thank you. I like Jalen Hurts. There could be someone who just doesn't like Josh Allen and thinks the Bills are cooked. They moved on from their head coach and they're not going to be as good. Someone did make that swap. I expect most people would not, but someone did. So see what you can get for Jalen Hurts. I would definitely take the Josh Allen side. There were just not that many trades where I wouldn't take the Jalen Hurts side. Now, we've talked about Drake May a few times in this video, and if you've made it to this far in this video, you might be interested in checking out our Drake May video. It'll be posted on your screen where you can click it and get a gauge. Thank you very much for staying with us all the way to the end. This will wrap us up, and we will see you in the next one.